Good morning, class. Since we are done with our discussion from chapter 1, which is the whole number consisting of 4 lessons, and the chapter 2 is the number theory consisting also of 4 lessons, and lastly, chapter 3, fractions, consisting of 6 lessons. Today, I will share with you a brief recap how to answer each lessons in each chapters. In lesson 1, there are many methods in multiplying multi-steps numbers. Some of them are the long method, lattice method, and the distributive property of multiplication over additions. And in lesson 2, to divide large numbers, we follow the steps. First, we divide, we multiply, we subtract, we bring down, and repeat our remainder. And in lesson 3 is to solve an equation involving order of operations. Remember the numerics GMDES. GMDES stands for grouping symbols, exponents, multiplications, divisions, or additions, and addition or subtractions. In lesson 4, we have exponential notation is the shortest way of writing repeated multiplications. The base is the number that is being multiplied repeatedly, and the exponent tells us to multiply the numbers by itself certain numbers of times. In chapter 2, we have a prime numbers, a whole number greater than 1, which has only 2 factors, 1 and only itself is called prime numbers. A composite number is a whole number with 3 or more factors. A prime factorization is a process of expressing a composite numbers as a product of its prime factors. In lesson 2, every number is divisible by 1, and a number is divisible by 2 if it is even. A number is divisible by 3 if the sum of its digit is a multiple of 3. A number is divisible by 4 if the last 2 digits are divisible by 4. A number is divisible by 5 if the last digit is either 0 or 5. A number is divisible by 6 if it is divisible by both 2 and 3. A number is divisible by 7 if the difference between twice the unit's digit and the remaining digit is divisible by 7. A number is divisible by 8 if the last 3 digits are divisible by 8. A number is divisible by 9 if the sum of its digits is divisible by 9. And lastly, a number is divisible by 10 if the unit's digit is 0. In lesson 3, factors are numbers being multiplied to get the product. We have here the GCF, stands for greatest common factor, is the biggest number that can exactly divide the given numbers. The methods of finding the GCF of 2 or more numbers are listing, prime factorization, continuous division, and Euclidean algorithm. In chapter 4, multiples are products of a given numbers and the natural counting numbers. We have here the last common multiple or the LCM. It is the least number that can exactly be divided by the given numbers. And the 3 methods of finding the LCM of 2 or more numbers are listing, prime factorization, and continuous division. In chapter 3, lesson 1, a mixed number or a mixed fraction is composed of whole numbers and fractions, while an improper fraction has a numerator which is greater than or equal to the denominator. To change a mixed number to an improper fraction, multiply the whole number by the denominator. Then add the numerator. The answer will be the new numerator. Finally, copy the same denominator. To change improper fractions to a mixed number, divide numerator by the denominator. The quotient will become the whole number. while the remainder will become the numerator. Lastly, copy the same denominator. In lesson 2, to express a fraction in the lowest term or in its simplest form, we divide both the numerator and the denominator by their greatest common factor. In lesson 3, to add similar fractions, change them first to similar fractions, then add. To add mixed numbers, first add the whole numbers parts. Second, change the fractional parts to like fractions. 3. Add the fractional parts. And fourth, write the answers in the simplest form. In lesson 4, to subtract the similar fractions, change them into similar fractions, then subtract the numerators and copy the common denominator. To subtract mixed numbers, first subtract the whole numbers parts. Second, change the fractional parts to like fractions. Third, subtract the fractional parts. And fourth, write the answers in the simplest form. In lesson 5, to multiply fractions, we follow these rules. First, multiply the fractions by a fraction, multiply the numerators as well as the denominators, and express the answers in simplest form. Second, in multiplying a fraction by a whole number, express the whole number as a fraction with a denominator of 1. Then, multiply the numerators and the denominators and express the answer in simplest form. Third, in multiplying mixed numbers, express the mixed numbers as improper fractions. Then, multiply the numerators and denominators and express the answer in simplest form. And lastly, in lesson 6, to divide fractions, we follow these steps. First, get the reciprocal of the divisor. Second, change the division sign to multiplication sign. Third, multiply the numerators. Fourth, multiply the denominators. And lastly, express the answer in its simplified form if needed. And that would be all. I hope you learned something, and goodbye.